Today, we enter yet again into the season of Lent. And as we mark the beginning of this journey to Easter, we remember that this season has been traditionally used for faithful people to delve into discipleship practices. In the early church, those who were wishing to become members of the church would enter into days of preparation and formation before being baptized on Easter. Now, we use this season to strengthen our own connection with God, to engage in spiritual practices that help us know God more. Lent is an invitation. Again and again, God invites us to go on a journey of faith. God invites us to delve into our intentions. God invites us to grow in our relationship with God, and this is a deeply personal invitation. In a year where our familiar practices of community and congregation have been interrupted and put on hold, it is nice to remember that this invitation into Lent is a deeply personal one. Our acceptance of this invitation does not require us to be in community with other people. It doesn't require us to show the world an outward mark of a cross on our forehead. All it requires is our commitment of turning back to God, our commitment of turning our hearts back toward God. And that is a commitment that only we can make personally. This is what our scripture passage talks about today. A familiar scripture from Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, where Jesus makes it clear that our practices of faith should not be done for the benefit of others. They should be for us and God. Those who make a show of their faithful practices, praying out loud for the masses to see, for instance, have already reaped their reward. Those whose faith is only on display for the approval of other people reap their reward once other people see them. But those whose faith is focused on honoring and worshiping God and God alone will reap an even greater reward. Those whose focus is on what the world thinks will store up their treasures here. But those whose focus is on God will store up their treasures in heaven. And on this Ash Wednesday, as we enter into another season of Lent, we are invited to return our focus to God. You know, when I was in high school, I had a habit of giving up sweets for Lent, with the exception of on my birthday, which without fail falls in the Lenten season. And it was always my goal to make it through Lent without eating any sort of sweet. Now, one year, my youth group had a lock-in the day before Easter. We were in charge of this Easter sunrise service and had to be at the church by 6:30 a.m. And my youth leader was smart and made sure we were at the church the night before, so nobody would be late. At the lock-in, my youth leader brought in a cake shaped like an Easter bunny. And everyone in my group was eating the cake. I, having given up sweets, eyed them with jealousy. My youth leader noticed, and she said, "Well, just eat some cake." I hemmed and hawed and made a big deal about it. I didn't want any because I was committed to not eating sweets. It was almost Easter. I had almost made it. Now look, I don't remember if I actually ate any of the cake or not. But what I do know is that when I was reflecting on this instance of my life, I don't think not eating the cake or giving up sweets did anything to bring me closer to God. Not eating the cake was not about my relationship with God. I made a big deal for the benefit of other people. And that's not what Lent is about. So often in the season of Lent, we are apt to tell others exactly what we are doing. We are apt to put up some sort of show and say, "I've given up coffee," or "I've given up chocolate," "I've given up this," "I've given up that," to prove our dedication to other people. We talk about the struggles of waking ourselves up without the help of caffeine, or we talk about how much we just miss sweets. Now, there's certainly nothing wrong with giving up things for Lent, particularly those things that stand in the relationship between you and your relationship with God. But the question we must ask ourselves is this: am I doing this for God, or am I doing this for the approval of others? Is my Lenten practice for God, or is my Lenten practice for the approval of others? Lent is an invitation to commit more of our time to connecting with God. This invitation does not require public acceptance. Others do not need to see it. It is an invitation whose acceptance is between you and God. So I invite you this Lenten season to commit to private practice. Use this season and this time we are a part of to delve deeper into your own personal piety. Commit yourself to strengthening your relationship with God. The time has come again for us to receive this invitation. Let us respond to it.